Family, good morning. It's Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Welcome to Wake Up Bama. We got an action-packed podcast to get your championship day started. Bryson Cooley flips to Alabama. Ezavier Crowell goes absolutely crazy in the state title game. The Tide finished number 2 in the recruiting rankings. We got the Alabama versus Georgia preview. The injury report is lengthy, but I'll walk you off the ledge. Coach Saban talking some Ty Simpson pre-snap adjustments. I got the keys to the game, and, of course, the championship Saturday game for all other games taking place today. This is Wake Up Bama. We ended National Signing Day with Bryson Cooley flipping from LSU to Alabama. Think about that. Let me ask you inside the comment box as you get your day started, what's your excitement level about Bryson Cooley flipping to Bama? Anytime you get a flip, it's amazing, right? You're excited, you're pumped up, right? You got to win. But I think in this particular case, it's a little bit sweeter because of where he's coming from. And I was thinking about this. I was like, man, this is Lane Kiffin's first loss to Bama. So in case you missed it, Bryson Cooley was supposed to announce on Wednesday. He postponed that announcement to Friday. And then it was supposed to be at 1 p.m. They changed it to 1:45 p.m., whatever the case was. I think it really came down to the wire. And was it a bidding war? Maybe. Listening to Courtney Morgan, Alabama's GM, he was like, look, we're not going to overspend. We're going to spend wisely. In my opinion, you spend wisely at the tackle position and you go all in if you feel that this player is a must-get. I think skill position players, look, they're interchangeable. Some guys are absolutely dynamic, like Ezavier Crowell, Sadarian Morgan, but tackles are hard to come by. Same thing with defensive tackles. I always talk about that. And in this case, Bryson Cooley is 6'6", 315 pounds. He's a tackle out of Mississippi. You pick him up, you get him. Big slam dunk to end early National Signing Day. Alabama now has 5 offensive linemen in this class. They have 4 of those guys are from class of 2026, and then you have Tyrell Miller, who came in as a junior college prospect. So that's 5. And do you need another out of the transfer portal? I don't know. But you need competition. You need somebody that can come in my opinion, and push for a starting spot because we have had issues at the tackle position for 2 consecutive seasons. I still feel that we're not tightened up even in that area going into this SEC championship game. So Cooley is really the cherry on top of this wonderful, impressive class of 2026. In fact, Alabama finished number 2 in the 24/7 rankings behind USC. USC, I think they had like 36 guys in their class. It's crazy. So 22 commitments, right? Adding on Trayshawn Brown and Cooley to top off the class. But before I go there, let me just highlight one running back who went absolutely crazy in the state title game on Friday. That's Ezavier Crowell, right? You're 6 foot, 210-pound running back out of Jackson. They're playing Anniston Friday. And my goodness, Coach Kalen DeBoer said on Wednesday when he spoke about the class that Ezavier Crowell finishes every single thing that he touches in the end zone. Absolutely. This guy had over 330 yards in the state title game. He finishes out with 2,300 yards this season, 30 touchdowns. He was named the Gatorade Player of the Year, state of Alabama. Am I crazy? I get it. The guy coming in is always better, blah, blah, blah. Is Ezavier Crowell going to come in and be the starting running back next year? Is that too far? Am I tripping? I know he's going to be an early enrollee, but am I tripping there, fam? Walk me off the ledge. My question for you inside the comment box, is Ezavier Crowell going to be Alabama's starting running back for the 2026 season? Yes or no? Let me know. So the Tide finished number 2 overall in 24/7. I think they finished number 6 in on 3 or number 5. It was one or the other, but still like an incredible class that they put together. But check this out. Xavier Griffin is the highest rated player that Alabama got in this class, right? He's a edge rusher out of Georgia. Big time prospect. And then you also have Jordan Edmonds on the defensive side at the corner spot. The second highest rated player, also the number 1 corner in the country. So you got the number 1 edge and the number 1 corner, each out of the state of Georgia. DeBoer's been able to recruit the Southeast really well. Remember when we were like, man, he's not going to be able to come in here and recruit. We're worried about how he recruits in the Southeast. I will say this, though. I think when recruiting prospects out of Florida, that doesn't necessarily seem to be a pipeline for Alabama as strong as it was for Coach Kalen DeBoer, right? You might have sacrificed Florida for California. I mean, California, Florida, Texas, I mean, those are elite, pipelines for high school football players, but just something that stands out, right? Brian Williams, the prospect out of Florida, ended up signing with Auburn over Alabama on signing day. So whatever. Just something I thought of. But you also get the big in-state pickups. And that's another thing. Is like, is he going to be able to land in-state prospects? Because when he first got here, everybody was like signed to Auburn or committed to Auburn. By the way, did you see Antonio Coleman? He was one of those guys that kind of went back and forth, ultimately picked Auburn. He's in the transfer portal as of today. But yeah, he's been able to get the in-state guys, right? So Darian Morgan and Ezavier Crowell this year. Zion Gibson, Kamarion Johnson out of Muscle Shoals. I think, did you miss on Tank Jones? Sure, we'll call it a miss. You're not going to get all the guys. Would Tank Jones been a wonderful addition? Yeah. But, I mean, he's going out to Oregon. I mean, who knows what he got paid? He's a crown jewel of their class, I'm sure, right? Really, really good ending to signing day for the Alabama Crimson Tide. My goodness, ending out with a flip was just outstanding, Cherry on top, 100%. The Alabama Crimson Tide, they have officially landed, okay? This is Friday. This has been cut on Friday. They landed in Atlanta, Georgia, ahead of the SEC championship game. Which excitement level for the SEC championship game? Is this still high? Does this still mean what it meant like 5 years ago? Do you think we're getting closer to no more conference championship games? Is this something to kind of like savor? Is this going to be like, remember how A-Day used to be so great? Now A-Day doesn't exist anymore just because things have changed. I think that the SEC championship game, and even listening to Coach Saban Friday on the Pat McAfee show, he was like, you win the SEC championship game, you're able to kind of strut around the rest of, the SEC and be like, kind of flex on them. The SEC is the best conference in college football. I get it. There's 3 good teams out of the Big Ten, but the rest of them are pretty mid. The SEC, man, it seems like they're all good. At least like 10 of them, 12 of them, right? Winning the conference championship game, if Alabama is able to do it this year, I think that this year's SEC is probably the best that it's been, kind of top to bottom from that, maybe 1 to 12 range that it's ever been. Am I right? Right? So I think winning the SEC championship game would be super impressive. And if you're able to do it, I mean, I get it. Each of these teams are already in the playoffs, 7-1, each of these guys in conference play, but winning a conference championship game would be really, really impressive this year. Just because I think it's, an outstanding conference from top to bottom. I found this interesting. UGA is a 2.5-point favorite, but Alabama is a 51% favorite if you go by the ESPN metrics, right? I've never seen that before, to be honest. I mean, literally, does this mean that this game is just a straight-up coin flip? Some interesting stats I've been finding out about this game as you kind of dig into the numbers. That Alabama is 8-0 at Mercedes Stadium. Kirby Smart is 1-7 all-time against Alabama. That is crazy to me. The only time that he won was in 2021 when he won the national title game. Coach Kalen DeBoer is 2-0 against Kirby Smart. Can you imagine if he starts off coaching at Alabama and just automatically 3-0 against Kirby Smart? You think of, let me ask you this. Who's the top coach right now? Would you say the consensus top coaches in college football? Who is it? I mean, you have a lot of coaches up there, but I think Kirby Smart would probably be one of the names that you mentioned. So there's a lot of injuries in this game. Pete Thamel on Friday seemed to hear what I heard regarding Alabama running back Jam Miller. Now, as I'm cutting this video, it's ahead of the SEC availability report for Friday night. As you know, I'm watching my little girl perform in Annie Jr. at the Bama Theater. Proud dad for sure. But I heard that he's not going to play. I think a lot of people kind of expect him that he's not going to play. Daniel Hill, A.K. Deere, expect those guys to see most of the time on Saturday against Georgia. It's going to be a tall task for anybody to run the ball against Georgia. Team built to stop the run. Josh Cuevas, unlikely to play as well. We've spoken about this a bunch of times this week. You got the two freshmen, Marshall Pritchett and Caleb Edwards. LT Overton and Kelby Collins on defense, those guys are out. They're defensive linemen. But the craziest thing is it's an illness. So I was thinking like the flu. Because there's really bad cases of the flu. I don't know what that is, if that's it for sure. He just said illness. I think on Georgia's side, you're like, well, is Georgia missing anybody? Yeah, they're missing a lot of guys too. But the biggest loss that they have is from starting center Drew Bobo. So he's out. Okay, that's a big loss for them. Imagine if Alabama didn't have Parker Brailsford. We'd be freaking out. Kirby Smart said going into this game, they're banged up. We are too. There will be a lot of next man up mentality in this game. Love it. You know, you get to this point in the season, yeah, you better have quality depth if you really want to make a run. If you want to win a championship of any level, you better have next man up mentality, and you better have the horses on the bench to do it. Now is that time where if you're a backup player, you got to make sure that your shoes are tight. You're going to get your name called, I promise you. Okay? I found this interesting, talking about Coach Saban, talking about Ty Simpson's pre-snap adjustments, because this was something I was talking about following the game against Auburn. I pointed out that he seems very frantic, kind of running around, changing every single play, and they're letting things go down to like 1 second. I'm all for time of possession, but it's not like you're just sitting there waiting for the play clock to go down. I mean, he's going crazy all over, changing things, receivers, running backs, tackles, everybody, right? And Coach Saban said this. One of the things that I think is important with Ty, he's been leaving kind of the home position, right, under center, to change plays on the platform. And the other team is also making adjustments, right, playing chess out there. And this is all before the snap. So that doesn't create any advantage for you checking the play on offense, Saban said. So hopefully he'll do a little bit better job of that this week, and it won't be a problem for Alabama's offense. I think when he's doing that, when you're playing on the road or outside of Bryant-Denny Stadium, it's very difficult because it's so loud, right? Coach Kalen DeBoer actually commented on the same thing Thursday during the SEC Championship teleconference. And he said this: we give Ty Simpson full reign to go out there and make the reads and adjustments that he needs to. He has a very high IQ. We don't ever want him taking a snap that he's not comfortable with. Someone not being on the same page with him, that happens a little bit more on road games. We've been to these games before at Mercedes Stadium. It's usually split, right? Like 50-50. It's not, clearly a home game for either team, even though Athens isn't too far away from Atlanta. But still, it's away from Bryant-Denny Stadium, and so are all the other games that Alabama is going to play this season. Think about that. So having that area tightened up, very important for the pre-snap. Started thinking about keys to the game, right? What are the keys to the game? I came up with these 3, okay? Controlled game on offense. And what I mean by that is Alabama was extremely efficient on third downs the last time they played Georgia. 14 of 19 to be exact. They also had long sustaining drives. One lasted 14 plays, 74 yards for 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Another one went 14 plays, 83 yards in 6 minutes and 57 seconds. Those were really gut punches to a defense that is, known for being solid, right? They were tired. They were worn down. Time of possession will always be a big factor for Alabama's offense this year, right? And I think if they're able to have some long sustaining drives or they're able to move the ball, put a touchdown in, that's going to be deflating clearly to Georgia. It seemed to me like Alabama was able to have a lot more long sustaining drives towards like week 7 or 8. And then that all kind of changed. And this team, for one thing, it would be nice to have an explosive play, but that is just not part of this equation. Would I love to see a vertical touchdown? Hell yeah. Something, a running back break one? Hell yeah. But that just doesn't seem to happen with this offense. It seems like they kind of just move steady down the field when they do score. Seriously, when's the last big explosive play that this team had? I'm dead serious. I think if you were to ask me, I think it might be to Lazier Brooks several weeks ago, a month ago. I don't know. Eliminating explosives from Georgia. Gunnar Stockton has definitely gotten better since the last time they played. They've won 8 games in a row. Against Alabama, he was pretty mid, 13 of 20 for 130 yards, right? But UGA has won, as mentioned, 8 in a row. He's gotten pretty hot at times. He threw for 4 touchdowns against Ole Miss, 3 against Mississippi State, 4 against Texas. Against Georgia Tech last week, I don't know, didn't really do that much. 11 for 21, 70 yards. Maybe it was kind of part of the game plan. But he has more confidence this time around. You have to stop the explosive on the outside. Alabama's secondary has been playing with its hair on fire. I mean, outstanding football. Ezavier Crowell playing like the best corner in the country, right? So you got to stop big plays over the top. You got to stop chunk yardage plays. Last time they played, it was Chauncey Bowens who really was effective running against Alabama. He had 119 yards, which is the highest that he's ever ran for this season. So stopping those big explosives from Georgia and having your defense get them off the field on third down. The last factor I think it comes down to is special teams. Call me crazy. Am I crazy for this? It seems like I have more confidence in Connor Talty, the Alabama's field goal kicker. After last game, he was 2 of 2, hit 1 from 45 yards out. Am I tripping? Right? And then do you agree with me on this? It seems to me that Georgia always has a better field goal kicker than Alabama. Alabama always has a better quarterback. Georgia always has a better field goal kicker. Same thing with Auburn, right? Georgia has a really good field goal kicker. Peyton Woodring, one of the best in the nation, actually. 15 of 16 on the season, kicking field goals. 5 of 6 from 40 yards out, and 3 of 3 from 50 yards out. Is it too early to ask for a kicker for Christmas from the transfer portal? Can we do that? My pick for this game, I'll take Alabama once again over Georgia. I expect these two SEC powerhouses to find themselves again in the playoffs, too. I really think they'll probably play 3 times this year, which is crazy. And I know some people are a little burnt out about the matchup, but hey, the cream rises, and these teams are going to find each other again. I'll take Alabama winning 21-14, and the way it happens, Gunnar Stockton throw like a pick 6 to Ezavier Crowell or something like that. Drama expected. Each of these teams will be in the playoffs unless Alabama loses something crazy like 42-0 or something like that. All right, let's look at some other games taking place across the nation on Championship Saturday. Hey, by the way, if you like this video, if you like the content, if you like Wake Up Bama, let me know inside the podcast by typing in, I love Wake Up Bama. I just want to get some feedback. It's been great. It's been something that I've added new to the channel. It's distributed live every day at 4 a.m. It takes a little bit to put together, but I like it, right? I don't have all the graphics going, but I figure just something at that point of your day, I imagine you're getting ready. Hopefully you're brushing your teeth. You're at the gym, right? Maybe maybe a drive to work or something like that. So that's kind of the thought process of putting something out there. And consistency and performance, right? You want good audio. You want good delivery, right? I try to do that for you. So hopefully we find some symmetry in terms of the Wake Up Bama. At 11 a.m., you have BYU taking on Texas Tech, okay? The Red Raiders are a 12.5-point favorite. And I'm thinking, BYU was this good? How are they a 2-touchdown underdog? The last time they played, Texas Tech took it to them in Lubbock 29-7. A BYU win puts the Cougars into the playoff tournament, in my opinion, probably over Notre Dame. BYU head football coach Kalani Sitake, his contract was extended, as was Texas Tech's football coach, right? That each came following that Penn State. They were looking for their head football coach, and everybody else got paid. Does anybody inside the comment box think that BYU wins today? I don't see that happening. Indiana takes on Ohio State. These next 2 games I'm talking about each take place after Alabama and Georgia. Indiana takes on Ohio State. The Buckeyes are favored by just 4. I was thinking about this. What happens if Ohio State just dominates? Number 1, it probably scares the rest of the field. And number 2, I'm like, does Indiana lose kind of that top 4 placement? They're clearly going to host a game and be 5, 6, 7, 8 in the playoffs if they get drubbed. But I still have, what's the score going to be on this game? I think it might be similar to like Ohio State and Michigan. I'd say like 28, 20, something like that, 21, something like that. I don't know. Is Indiana going to score 3 touchdowns on that defense? If they do, that's impressive. Ohio State's defense is filthy. Do you see what Caleb Downs had to say, former Alabama safety? He's now at Ohio State, and he was like, look, being honest with you, it was a recent interview. He's like, playing in the SEC is a lot more challenging. He was like, because every single week it's a gauntlet. He's like, all the teams are good every single week, whereas the Big Ten, you have a couple challenging games, but for the most part, you could put it on cruise control. The playoff committee should listen to that. All right, and then you have Duke taking on Virginia. The Cavaliers are favored by 4. A win by Virginia puts them in. Duke wins. I don't think any team from the ACC gets in, which is crazy. Can you imagine? Vanderbilt should be trying to join the ACC. Notre Dame should be trying to join the ACC. Then you have a better shot to get into the playoffs, right? So that's what we're looking like for Championship Saturday. And, of course, I will be live 15 minutes before the game between Alabama and Georgia. I hope that you have enjoyed this podcast on Wake Up Alabama and or Wake Up Bama. That's what I'm trying to title it. So Wake Up Bama, right? I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you have a beautiful Championship Saturday. This is going to be a great Saturday and a really great Sunday. A lot to be grateful for. Alabama's recruiting class, number 2 in the nation. Alabama playing in the SEC championship game against Georgia. Coach Kalen DeBoer, 10-2, shut down the Penn State talk, right? Man, you kind of zoom out. You got a lot to be grateful for if you're an Alabama football fan. And I think Alabama's a playoff lock too. So, man, this team's got, so much going for them. Year 2 under Coach Kalen DeBoer has been fruitful. Let's not stop here, though. Let's win the SEC championship game and continue to climb forward. And you know what? If Alabama is able to win today, they'd play on New Year's or New Year's Day. If they're not able to win, they'd probably be on the road playing December 20th, which will also be fun. We'll see how it goes. All right, can you imagine sitting there waiting for the playoff committee and you're like, yeah, we get a home game. Who we playing? Alabama. Oh, that's going to happen to somebody if Alabama loses. But I don't think they will. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Stay blessed. Stay where your feet are at. Thank God for this beautiful day. And I'll catch you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Thanks for listening, watching Wake Up Bama. See ya.